Hi, and welcome to the 3 steps of letting go of unwanted habits so you can gain confidence and clarity and get the results you've been wanting. I'm Brooke, and the name of my coaching business is Be Brave. So, welcome to this program. Today, we're going to go over a PDF that was attached in your email. So, if you haven't taken a look at that PDF yet, or printed it off or pull it up, go ahead and pull it up. I'll give you a few moments. You can actually pause the video. I'm going to keep going. Pause the video and pull that PDF up so you can understand what it is I'm referring to. I'm going to go ahead and dive on in. So habits, let's think about habits for just a few minutes. Habits are just segments of our day, and they're little things that we do that we may not want, or maybe we love. Today, we're going to be talking about the unwanted habits. But instead of taking a look at a habit like it's this piece of problem in our life that we want to go away, and then all that's filled, then all that area of time that it's caused will be filled up with more time to play. It's true, but all you're doing is replacing the habit with a new habit. More of one that you wanted. Perhaps your habit now that you don't want is, I don't want to smoke. Well, you're replacing that with not smoking, okay? It doesn't take any more time out of your day to change your habits. No more time. So if you're someone who gets caught up in, I don't have enough time, or you're rushing around, then this program is for you, because it does not take any more time out of your day to implement any of these things that we're going to talk about, okay? So I'm going to dive right on in. I've already said that, but I'm going to keep diving on in. I'm going to go deeper in. Number one, what you're going to do is identify what it is you want to change. Okay. There's something that made you pick this program. There's a habit, or there's something that in your life that you wish you can change. I want you to take a moment, pause the video, and really think about what it is that you want to change in your life. Okay, like a habit. We're talking habits here. Now, at the end of this, you're going to see that really this applies to a lot more than just the little habits, but we're not going to go there yet. Okay, so first, identify what it is you want to change. What's the problem? Okay, number one. So I'm going to go through the example here that I've used on the PDF. Okay, so maybe it's mindless eating or malnutrition food, and you want to change that because you want to eat healthier. So that's the problem. Identify the problem and what needs to happen. Mindless eating on malnutrition food. And when does it happen? It happens when I'm sad, when I'm happy, when I'm overwhelmed, when I'm stressed, when I'm celebrating. Pretty much it happened any time, right? This is a real one for me, so it's easy to talk about. So that's something I wanted to change. Step number 2, after you've identified the habit and when it happens, this is when you take a second and you slow down. You need to ask yourself, when you catch yourself wanting to do it, or when you caught yourself after you just did it, ask yourself, what was happening right before I did this? And listen. Listen like that, okay? Sometimes you're going to have, if it's smoking, you're going to want to notice this right before you smoke. Other times you're going to smoke and not even notice you've smoked. Me, I would eat my son's mac and cheese and not even realize I had eaten it until I was scraping off the dish. And I was like, that's still in my mouth. I ate that. I didn't even know I was eating it. So secondly, you just really want to be aware of what's happening and then what was happening before it. So for example, when I was eating the mac, when I caught myself scraping off a dish and I was like, whoa, I just ate mac and cheese and didn't even realize it. And this is where you slow down. Not to be confused with taking too much time. Slow down. Seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Slow down for seconds and say, what was happening? Right before I come up to the kitchen, I was thinking about all the work that needed to get done and what I needed to do and when I wasn't going to do it. And I wasn't really sure when I was going to be able to do it. So the whole time I was eating, that's what I was thinking. Oh, well, no wonder I was stressed and overwhelmed and not thinking. That was step number 3, the story I was telling myself. Okay, so when I was doing it was when I was overwhelmed and stressed and not paying attention. Step number 3 is, what was the story I told myself? So when I'm stressed, the story that I told myself is that this is the only thing I can control. Okay, when I'm stressed and overwhelmed and I don't know when I'm going to do something, I feel totally out of control. And then I'd listen, what story am I telling myself? And I would hear it. This is the only thing I can have control. Ladies and gentlemen, if you stop and you slow down for a second, 1 to 5 seconds, the story will come in your ear. You will hear it, what you told yourself. Okay. For me, it was, this is the only thing I can control. I have control over what goes in here. It soothes me as it goes down, and I'm in control. And then we have to rewrite our story. Because I want to ask you something. Yes, I have control over what goes the 2 feet between my hand and my mouth. Matter of fact, it's one of the few things in my life I have control over. So if it's the only thing I have control over, shouldn't I be in control? So let's talk about what that looks like and ask yourself, tell yourself, I do have control over my body, and I have control over what goes in my mouth. So I'm going to take this and I can choose good foods good foods to put into my mouth. Okay. Now guys, I want to back up a little bit because these two things kind of blend. All of these things I'm talking about, from noticing when it happened, noticing what you were feeling, and then hearing what you tell yourself, this can happen in like 10 seconds. Sometimes you might, in the very beginning, you might be kidding yourself a little bit. You might hide it from yourself, and it might take 30 seconds, but you'll hear it. If you slow down, you'll hear it. Okay. When you hear it, be kind, be gentle, and tell yourself, you're right. I do have control over what goes in my mouth. Matter of fact, it's one of the few things in my life I can control. I'm going to go ahead and start being aware when I put something in my mouth, and I'm going to put something healthy in my mouth. Actually, I wasn't even hungry. I think I'll just skip it. Do you see how I was nice to myself? I identified the problem. I was nice to myself, and then I changed it into a new story. If don't make your new story something you can't feel, okay? You have to be able to believe it. So if your story is, I eat bad foods because they taste good and I love them, you can't turn around and you tell your story, no, I eat good foods because they taste good, and hope it works because of affirmations that you've heard all about, right? There's a big gap between affirmations and manifestations, and it's called action steps. And you have to feel it. If you don't feel it first, if you don't believe it, you can't make yourself. It'll take so much time to get there. So start with the story that you believe, okay? Start with the story you believe. You can always tweak it. You can always advance on it. You can always listen, continue the process. Okay, on this. So for example, I do have control over my food, and I do like the taste of this kind of food, but I also like feeling good, and I want to be nourished. So I think I'm going to choose something that will feel good in my body and nourish me. Period. I didn't lie. I didn't say I like the taste of broccoli. I like mac and cheese, not broccoli, right? That was the old me. That was some stories I had to get through. So this is it. When we wrap up these stories and we rewrite them, watch how fast it can go. Now, it's not about fast in time. It's about how quickly and how easily these habits can change. The more consistent you are. So if you're someone who's trying to stop smoking and you smoke 45 times in a day, and you can recognize every 45, or maybe you recognize 10 times this day and 12 times the next day and 15 times the next, that's consistency, and it's going up. That is the difference in how long this new habit's going to kick in. It's not how hard it is. It's the consistency behind your doing it. It's the consistency on how often you're taking ownership and identifying it. And the biggest gap between how long it takes to create a new habit is how easy you are on yourself. Be kind to yourself. If you're like, you dumb butt, I can't believe you eat those stupid foods and you thought that was okay. Well, what are you, stupid? No wonder you're so fat, blah, 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 blah. It's not going to happen. Matter of fact, the way you just turned and down spiraled is going to keep you away from your results. It is critical that if you are not, that this, I'm going to repeat this sentence because it's so important. It is critical that this is the time you be kind to yourself. Watch how quickly these changes can take place. Okay? So that's it. I'm going to recap. 1, you identify the problem. What is the problem and when does it happen? 2, you tell your story. Okay? You notice what you were doing. I'm going to repeat that. 2, you notice what you were doing right up before this happened and listen to the story you told yourself. And 3, you rewrite the story. 1, identify the problem and when it happened. 2, notice what you were doing right before it happened. And when you notice it, listen to your story. Ask yourself, well, why did I do that? Oh, I was overwhelmed. Well, why did I want to eat and I was overwhelmed? Story. And number 3, rewrite that story. And then you practice and you practice and you practice. And I'm really confused about the word practice because we're not practicing. We're going ahead and doing it. We're just doing it and doing it. We're just getting better. And maybe that's what practice means. I should have looked up before we got on here. But I don't want you to look at it like it's practicing for something that one day you'll be good at. Well, I guess that's what it is. Because one day you're not even going to think about this. Already, I already have literally changed my relationship with food. It took about 3 months for me. But this was a lifelong, from the time I was a baby, issue that I worked with. Okay. And it just took 3 months it took just a few weeks and not many seconds to hear the stories. And boy, I was coming up with some good ones. I'm an adult. I can make my own decisions. You're right, Brooke. You can. How have those decisions been working out for you? Okay. I had some doozies, man. But I was gentle. But after about 3 months, it was no longer a thing I had to do anymore. Now it's just a part of my life. For some of you all, you're going to do it in a few weeks. For some of y'all, it could take a lot longer. It depends on how kind you are to yourself and how consistent you are. When you find yourself doing it, whether you gave in and just smoked anyway, or whether you just find yourself smoking and you're like, oh, what am I doing? You do have the choice to put it out. And the whole story with, well, I can't waste my money. You need to think about that story. Okay. But if you're just choosing, listen to that story, rewrite it for next time. Be kind. Okay. It's as simple as that. I hope to meet all of you all in my Facebook group. We go over great conversations. I want to hear what habit you changed and how the stories are going. If you need any personal coaching in that group as a place to put it, I can help you through it. And I want to hear your success stories as well. I look forward to seeing you in the community. Bye.